Hello everyone out there. I'm attorney Brian Tierney. This is Breaking Bread with Brian. I'm here today at Basil Leaf Café for some fine Italian dining in Chicago's Lincoln Park neighborhood. As always, the man behind the camera is Renee Costa from Blum Visual. If you want to take your marketing to the next level, you need to talk to Renee Costa from Blum Visual. Here with me today is Kim Larson from Zen Boutique Life Coaching. She's going to tell us what we should be doing in the beginning of the year to have a good start to our 2019 and what we should do to continue to make it a great 2019. So it's been a little while since I've seen you, Kim.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm happy to be here with you doing Breaking Bread. It's very exciting.
I'm happy to have you here. It's been quite a while, and it's always good to see you, always pleasant company. So have you done anything exciting in the new year? What's been going on?
Exciting in the new year, I have made some travel arrangements to go and see my children who live out of state. So that's exciting to me. I have some time off. And working with my clients.
Good
The clients give me the energy that is pretty much mindful, focused, Zen,
Okay.
which I really
Hence
love.
the name, yeah.
Hence the name. So that's my 2019 so far.
Good deal. Tell us a little bit about where you're located, where your office is, and where you mostly work with clients.
My office is located in the financial district at 401 South LaSalle.
Okay.
It's a great area. It's right off of the LaSalle Street Station.
Okay.
So if you were taking the train in and you get off the train, you walk right into the office, right into the building.
Good deal.
So it's a great spot to be.
You mentioned your kids live out of state. Where do they live?
I have my son who is in the Air Force,
Okay.
and he is in Valdosta, Georgia. I have two daughters that live, one is in Texas, one is in New York, and I have one here in Chicago.
Okay. So you have a lot of nice cities to visit.
I do, and
yeah.
warm.
Yeah. Hey, I just saw you in New York last time. I think I'm going to go down to Texas where it's a little warmer.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you said you have one boy and 3 girls?
Right.
Okay. Got that correct. So tell us a little bit about what we should be doing in the new year, just in general. Everybody's going to be specific. You'll have to tailor a specific plan to them. But what should we be doing in general in 2019 to have a good year?
Well, the beginning of 2019, it's always the cliche of setting a New Year's resolution.
Right.
I think New Year's resolution, pretty much you end that New Year's resolution because you're like, I said it, and it's like, it's not working, I get busy, I'm done. It's most important to set a goal. And set a goal with somebody else as well.
Okay.
That way you can hold each other accountable.
Makes sense.
And write down that goal on a whiteboard. And the reasons why you're setting that goal. It is so important to see every day why you set that goal, why you want to do that, why you want to make that change.
Maintaining a sense of purpose to
Exactly.
keep you on track.
It's very important to do that.
Helping you eliminate distractions.
That is correct.
Okay, that's how I feel about when I set a goal too. And I know I have my own goals for 2019. I want to, be more consistent with time blocking and making sure that I have time for each thing because these holidays were a time to reevaluate, right?
That is correct.
So we had 2 kind of short weeks. We had, the Christmas week and, you have the holiday and then you have 3 days left in the week after the holiday's over, likewise with New Year's. And that time was a nice break to kind of reevaluate and look at some of the things that did not get done in 2018 for me and kind of see, well, why didn't they get done? And a lot of it was just I wasn't making the proper time to get those done. So I'm time blocking just the calendar and kind of keep myself on track too.
That's
so
good. That's
I'm
very
interested
important.
to hear, any other tips too that you have. So you said making a goal, writing it down on a whiteboard, and having somebody else involved in that to kind of keep you on track?
Right. You hold each other accountable for your goal. A lot of people set the New Year's resolution to, I want to go to the gym, I want to lose weight, this is my goal weight, but things get in the way. Or there's obstacles. And what are those obstacles that are getting in your way from attaining that goal? The partner that you have will work with you with that. So you have each other to balance off of and then keep you on track to keep going. So that's important. The whiteboard, having the whiteboard and writing down your goals for the year or for the first 3 months or goals for the next 6 months, you're able to then erase that goal. So you feel less stress, less anxiety, because you know that you're accomplishing it. So whiteboarding is so important to have. The other thing that I feel that is important, a lot of us don't do anymore, is not journaling, using a monthly planner. A lot of people like putting their dates that they have in their phone. They forget that it's there. They forget the alert comes off. At least with the monthly planner, you can open it and see what you have to do. You know, who have I contacted? Do I need to call up and say, is everything finished? Are we good to go? Things like that. You can write it down in your monthly planner.
I've heard there's strength to just the act of writing it down. It's something about it with your mind, it just makes you more likely to end up doing it if you've actually physically written it.
Correct, and seeing it.
And seeing it.
Yeah.
Looking back on it each time. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think it all depends on the individual. Like me, I do use my phone and I do time block that way using Google Calendars. I also have a legal software that we use in my office for our legal deadlines for things we're working on. But my Google Calendars I use for outside events like Breaking Bread with Brian and what we're doing here. But the reason it works for me is I also have 2 assistants who keep me on track. Okay, remember, you have the closing at 3 p.m. or whatever on a given day. So, even if I haven't reviewed the entire calendar for the day, I still know, what's going on. But not everybody has that. Okay. So that's the importance of using a planner to write it down.
Yes. And it sets the time frame for the things that you need to do, and it helps you create a structure that you didn't have. A lot of my clients come to me because they don't have structure. And this is one way of finding that structure. You get used to doing that. It becomes, it's not something that's so mundane, right, but something that's bringing you forward to what you need to do, what you need to focus on.
Is there any issue with reevaluating or extending the timeline to reach the goal, or kind of adapting and overcoming as you go along? Is there any issues there? Or do you try to keep clients onto, this is when you set for the goal and this is when we should be hitting it by or have to be hitting it by?
It's not so much of an issue, but you want them to stay on track. You don't want them to come up with excuses of why. That's the whole reason of setting that goal, having someone hold you accountable. And as a life coach, I do reach out to my clients. If I see them once every month or once every other week, I will make a phone call. I'll send out an email. How are things going? Just to keep everybody on track. And I feel that that's important. So 9 times out of 10, I don't hear those excuses, I can't do it. I need to push the time forward. Because they're comfortable with where we're at and what we're doing.
I see. Yeah, and it sounds like with you there, you are making sure they're staying on course and kind of constantly evaluating things and keeping it in mind for them so that they're not letting it go to the wayside, if you will.
Yeah, and we make it fun. I don't make it sound like it's something bossy or, oh gosh, she's calling me. We make it a very fun conversation. We want to end each one of our sessions with that aha moment, that feel-good moment, right, to keep moving forward.
And so, life coaching, when you're providing service to your clients, is it holistic in the sense that you're working with mind and body and kind of keeping them on track with their physical goals? Because a healthy body can help the mind a lot too, and vice versa. So are you making sure that they're doing not just like business goals or personal goals as far as savings or investing or whatever they're doing? You're making sure that it's like a holistic approach?
Most definitely, and that's a great question. Before I begin each of my sessions, we do a form of meditation. So I'll have very light music on, we'll close our eyes, we'll do breathing, so that we would release some of that stress and tension before our session begins. And I tell my clients to do this when they wake up in the morning before they get outside. Meditate, take 10, 15 minutes just to put on some soothing music, meditate, breathe. Think about the positive things that are going to happen that day. And then get out there and go, do your thing. It's always going to have a happy effect, positive effect.
So when you're turning the channels on the radio, you want to tune into the Zen with a positive mindset, to start off that day with a positive mindset, have that affect everything else you're doing for that day, and kind of maintain it throughout the day.
Pretty much, but in a very positive way. I feel that mindfulness in a workplace is really important. Mindfulness is without judgment, and focusing on the present moment, which is very important. That's what I stress in my sessions as well. Be in the present moment. There is no judgment. Breathe, be positive, do positive forward thinking, which gets you through the day.
What are some of the things that people should include in mindfulness while they're at work or in their workplace, wherever that may be?
Breathing, communication. Communication is really important. Again, you pass no judgment on anyone. If someone has a question because they don't understand anything, take that time to work with that person. It's very important to do that. I believe that it brings teamwork together. Everyone can work as a team. If there's, I don't know if you've ever noticed in your office, there is one crabby person, the other person, maybe everyone else can become crabby, and we don't want that. No. So we want to stay as positive as possible.
I agree, because one, bit of negative energy in the room everybody kind of feeds off it, or they have a hard time being positive while the other person is being negative. So you can quickly, it's kind of like unseen, but it's there. You can see how a mood will change.
You could feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it. And when we're being mindful of the other people we're working with, are we being mindful of what they might have going on overall, just to know, if they're going through a rough patch or something, just to make sure that you're trying to, be as positive as you can, so that they're as positive as they can be in taking that approach to their work then?
Most definitely. If they have a negative approach to something, turn it into something positive, and make it a fun conversation. Don't make it sound like it's a demanding type of deal. Make it a fun conversation of positivity, that we can turn this negative into a positive in this way. Are you comfortable with that? Do you want me to help you with that? We can work together. And that's being mindful. And it creates success in the workplace.
Yeah, that's very important, especially for me, because at my law office, it's just a group of three. So, keeping everybody on the same page and keeping positive is really important. I see it, and that's another thing that I definitely am going to be making an even better effort in the new year to do, because in my line of work, we work with a lot of clients at one time, and we're very responsive with our emails. When I'm not in the office, the assistants are checking them, and I always check the emails in the evening, so I know what had happened during that day and respond at that time if I haven't had the chance to do it during the day. But it's tough and it's stressful, because we are outnumbered. There's three of us, and we'll each be working with, if you divide it in three, maybe 20 different people at a given time.
Of course.
So it can be very tough to meet the expectations of others. Now, one person had told me before, the best way to do is try to turn it into a challenge, and something positive, so that you don't let it just be overwhelmed. Like, okay, here's what I could do better, or here's how I can even reach more people in a given day, or whatever have you.
Yeah, definitely. And that's where whiteboarding comes in too. You can whiteboard what are those challenges, what are the daily challenges, as a group of three. What are the challenges each one of us face? How can we help each other with those challenges, and whiteboard them? And as you work through those challenges and ideas, you could start erasing things. And it gives you more of that motivation, like, wow, we are a team. Look at what we're doing. And it brings positivity to the company.
Well, absolutely. We'll keep that in mind too, and I appreciate the helpful advice on that. You mentioned meditating. That's something that I do want to start doing more of in my own life. In fact, what I really want to start doing is yoga.
Very good.
For my mind and for my body. And I'll get there. You know, I just had ACL replacement surgery, and I had another tendon replaced in my knee back in May of 2018. I've been very fortunate. I have full flexibility back in my knee. Not everybody gets that after the type of surgery that I've had. But I just have to work on strengthening the leg now. So I think once I get to the point where, and it's gotten much stronger, you don't realize how, like, after a surgery like what I had, the leg dies off, like the muscles, you know, they atrophy, and you're down to, you look like your leg is like 80 years old instead of, you know, 34 years old, like mine.
Right.
So right now I've just been focused on building that back up, but I do look forward to doing yoga, probably, you know, 2 times a week or 3 times a week, just because I'll be doing my own independent workouts outside of the actual yoga itself. But I understand it's good for the mind, it's good for the body, it's a good way to lose weight. You don't think of it as a good way to lose weight. A lot of people think, oh, I have to be doing a lot of cardio, I have to be on the treadmill, or a lot of strength training, you know, building muscle and then at the same time burning fat. But yoga, you can
mind, body, and spirit.
So do you do yoga too, or?
I do yoga as well. I actually had stopped yoga because I hurt my knee.
I see. Wow.
So.
Oh my God. We have so much in common. I don't know. We had an injury, and I had surgery. You probably did.
So I'm going to start getting back into yoga again. I am going to. I have a personal trainer I'm going to be starting with on Saturday.
All right.
So I'm going to do body strength training, and then get back, roll myself back into doing my yoga.
Okay.
I need the mind, body, spirit.
So you're going to do both at the same time? You're going to get
yes.
Get strong first.
Yes.
And then get back into yoga. So you're getting strong first and then getting back into yoga.
Yes.
And you do that nearby home, so it's not too out of the way, or nearby work? Or?
It's near home.
Okay.
And so, and I do suggest that to my clients as well, to do yoga, to work out when they can. You know, let's schedule that in. We'll, you know, find that structure of where you can fit it in to do that workout and to do that yoga. So there's no excuses, no obstacles getting in your way from doing that.
Have you ever heard of runner's high?
I've heard the expression.
Do you know what it means or no?
I'm not sure.
It's actually pretty intuitive, and it's actually pretty self-explanatory. So they say there's this euphoria you get after running, and it doesn't have to be a very long time. It could be. I'm sure you're probably riding a high for a few days if you've done a marathon or something. But it appears to be a real thing, and I know I personally, whenever I've done a good cardio exercise, I love the elliptical, I love the exercise bike, I love the treadmill. You actually do feel a high. You feel so much better afterward. Like you feel healthier, and your mind feels like so much more at ease. And it's not just me. One of my influences for this Breaking Bread, this video series, this podcast, if you will, is Joe Rogan. He does these podcasts. He's a stand-up comedian, and he commentates on fights and mixed martial arts for the UFC. But he says, they do this thing called Sober October, which I think I'm actually going to join in this year. It's where they don't drink any alcohol, no beers, nothing. I've been hearing more about the health benefits of doing that. Because it's my understanding that alcohol, it causes more inflammation in the body and things like that. It also saps your energy, which is why I don't really like it, and I do it in moderation. But he was saying that, you feel this high where your mental problems and your mental stress don't matter as much when you've been working out for long periods of time during the day. And we don't all have time to do, 3-4 hours of exercise a day, but even a little bit, I still notice the same. Maybe not as intense of a good euphoria feeling, but certainly I feel better. I feel less stressed, and I feel overall better in my mind and my body. So that's what that's all about. Have you experienced that too? I
have, and I love power walking. I have the beachfront where I can go running, so I love doing that. I do have a different type of energy. But I also have to remember that the things that any issues that I do have, that I don't forget about them, and I journal those issues. you don't want to forget just because you're running and you get that energy going and you're like, oh,
I
this
forgot
is
about
great.
my problems. I'm feeling
right.
good.
That does not happen.
They don't make, it doesn't make the problems go away.
Right. Journaling is great. And speaking of, have you ever had an issue that had come up and you're just like, I don't know what to do. What do I do? And you've gone to 3 or 4 people and each person gave you a different...
Yes. That's a difficult situation because you're like, who do I trust? I trust all 3 of them, but they're giving me 3 different answers to the same problem.
Yes. This is where a life coach comes in. A life coach will help you resolve that. Have you come to some sort of solution that's going to work for you.
For your peace of mind.
Exactly. So you don't have all these voices coming in and clouding up what it is that you really need to get done.
What else do you offer to your clients as far as your life coaching? You're going to be helping them set their goals and achieve their goals. You're going to be following up throughout to make sure they're on track for that. What else would be involved?
Personal and career. And so personal issues, more so like family structure, career getting in the way of family. How do I organize that? I'm at work too much and I can't get to my kids' functions. When I want to be, I can't do that. How do I structure that? So I have a lot of clients that come in that are either a single mom or parents who one is the disciplinarian, the other one is not, doesn't want to be the bad guy, and how do we come to meet in the middle? So we do a lot of that. I have a degree in psychology, which helps a lot with my life coaching, meaning therapy is more based on past issues.
Right.
And life coaching is the present, moving forward. With my psychology degree, I can see, talking to my clients, I can see that maybe they're stuck in a past trauma. And if they're stuck in a past trauma, that's something that I cannot help them with, but I do have resources that I can refer them to a therapist or a psychologist. And that's really important.
And that's probably a good thing for your own professional development because it sounds like you have some partners that you work with that you guys can refer to each other and kind of work as part of a team. And I guess that goes to the holistic approach with your job.
That is correct.
Do you have anybody else in the Zen Boutique Life Coaching, or is it just yourself?
It's just myself.
Okay.
And the office that I work in, there are other offices that have therapists.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that as a referral system. And I would like to connect with therapists, psychologists, or whatnot. On LinkedIn would be great, so that we have that open communication, and I get to know who they are and what they're doing, and I can use them as a referral source as well.
Well, we're going to do a little plug right here then. If you are a therapist, or you know a therapist, please have them talk to Kim Larson at Zen Boutique Life Coaching.
Thank you.
To better serve all of our clients.
That's right.
So, are you one of those crazy people that runs on the lakeshore with like just summer workout clothes on when it's like
I do
this
not.
outside? I don't know if the camera can see outside. There's snow everywhere. It is freezing cold. We're filming in January.
Right. No, I will not do that. I will go to a gym. I belong to Export Fitness. I get on the treadmill there. No outside for me. Not until it's at least 80.
Okay. Well, the reason I asked is you mentioned you run. And then I saw people on the drive here, driving down Lakeshore Drive.
Yes.
The one guy had like runner shorts on and just, I don't even remember if it was a long sleeve top. And I get it, you heat up when you're running. But
I'm not that brave.
You, my friend, in my opinion, are out of your damn mind.
Right, I'm not that brave.
Yeah, it's cold and it's a crazy time out there.
It is.
In Chicago. So tell us, how did you get into life coaching? How long have you been doing this now, and how did you get into it to begin with?
I've had my company for a year now, And I actually wasn't even thinking about doing life coaching. I was supposed to go through the whole course of doing clinical psychology. And who inspired me to go to college for psychology is my children.
Okay.
All of my children inspired me to do that, and not only my children, but the teenagers that I mentored gave me that, the great focus of knowing that I can help people. I can help motivate them. I can help them get on the road to success, the road that they want to be on, find their true passion, find their aha moment. So that was my children and the kids that I mentored that inspired me to get my degree. My degree turned into life coaching. I felt it was something that was important to me. I know this is cliche to say, but I love working with people. And at the end of every session, I love the energy that I give to my clients and what the clients give back to me. It goes hand in hand, so I love it. I love what I do.
So Kim, you mentioned that first responders, including policemen and women and firemen and firewomen, could use a life coach and a therapist to help themselves deal with some of the traumatic experiences they've had and some of the traumatic events they've been through. Could you tell us a little bit more about your services for first responders and things like that?
Life coaching is, I guess you want to say, like a talk therapy. So first responders can come to life coaching as a beginning. So they can talk out their stresses. We can write out what their stresses are. We could then figure out how we could resolve those stresses or those anxieties. However, if it's a traumatic event that they can't get past, that is when I would refer them to one of my referral therapists or psychologists. And I think life coaching is just a good way to get started. It's not heavy, it's not scary. It's just something you come in, you talk about, you do talk therapy. We talk about exactly what's going on. If it's something that I feel, like I mentioned, is a traumatic event that I cannot fix, I don't want to do harm to anybody, so I want to refer that person to somebody that can help them.
Or you can be a good first step and a good first
Exactly.
support to help them take things in the right direction.
That is exactly correct.
You mentioned that you have a specific offer for first responders.
I do. It's for first responders and students. I have a 25% off discount of what the sessions I have. My sessions go from 1 session to 10 sessions, and it's 25% off of every single session or session package that they pick. I feel that it's important that they get to come into the office not feeling scared or intimidated. I want them to feel that they're relaxed in a place where there is no judgment, and know that they can have a place where they can move forward. And that's either with me or with a therapist that I would refer them to. And I'm hoping that the discount will help them see that it's okay. I can do this.
Me too. And hopefully those folks who are first responders will hear this, and if you're watching and you know a first responder, spread the word. There's stuff that you see when you're a first responder that you can't unsee, and everybody needs help dealing with that so that they can be the best version of themselves.
That's right.
Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't help anybody else. So it's good to hear that you're there to help them and get them in the right direction.
And that's exactly what I want to do. I don't want to see them lose that focus of what they were meant to do. I don't want them to lose focus on what their passion really is. I know that each first responder has friends and family and loved ones all around them, and trying to keep things positive. But if you don't feel that positive inside of you, if you feel something holding you back, holding you down, come and see me. Let's talk it out. Let's do that talk therapy and work together.
So you were working and you were going to school. You're going part-time then, I'm guessing, to school? Or were you going full-time and working? That's got to be tough.
Working full-time, going to school full-time, and a single mom.
Supermom in the house.
Yay.
Kim Larson. If you can do that, this is your coach right here, because she's handled all sorts of problems at once, I'm
yes,
sure.
I have. But you know what? It's my children. My children are really strong-minded. We work together as a team. If it weren't for them to also have that positivity and strength, I'm not sure how far we would have gotten, but we did. We not only worked as a family, we worked as a team. We had family meetings, so we can talk about how we're doing. Each person had a voice and how their day or their week was going. And that's so important in a family, unity. Let each person have a voice. Talk about your day, talk about the issues that you're having, and work through them together.
Right on. Mm-hmm. Positive message.
Yeah, and whiteboard.
And whiteboard. I'm starting to see them everywhere now. We have two in my office. We're going to get a third one. So where did you go to school? Did you go to school here in Chicago?
I'm done with school. I went to Argosy University's Chicago School of Psychology.
Okay.
And that's on Michigan and Lake.
Psychology school, yeah, absolutely. What were you? Where were you working when you were going to school?
I started working. I was at Scott and Krause, a law firm. I was a legal assistant there.
Okay, I think you mentioned that when we first met.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
What type of law did they do?
Mortgage.
Like mortgage foreclosure.
Yes.
And some things related to that.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting. Yeah. So I guess we'll tell the viewers how we first met.
Yeah.
We were at the Plymouth Rooftop Bar and Grill, right next door to the John Marshall Law School, which is my alma mater, and which is a fancy way of saying that's where I graduated from. Alma mater sounds real
that's awesome.
professional.
That's awesome.
So I had a meeting with another attorney there, and you were there that evening, I guess, with some of your former colleagues, because
yes.
I'm guessing I met you when you first started opening Zen Boutique Life Coaching.
That's correct.
Or close to that time.
Yeah, I was just opening, yes.
Because what was it, last spring 2018?
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah, it does.
It's like, I looked forward to seeing you today and catching up with you, but the time flies so much that it feels like it was just yesterday in some sense. It's this weird duality.
I agree with you. It doesn't feel like a year ago.
Yeah.
It feels like just a couple months ago we were laughing, enjoying drinks, and sharing stories. Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, and it's funny. I mean, and I mentioned this before. I was at holiday parties last year, right? So I was at the 2017 holiday parties, and oh my God, just in December 2018, here we are again. And it felt like it was just yesterday. I was at the same parties, having a good time with the same people. It's just crazy how time flies, and that's really important, I guess. For your profession, to make sure that people aren't letting that time get away and aren't getting sidetracked. I was meeting with attorney Dan Biederman. Shout out to Dan. I actually just saw him a couple of weeks ago. We were having a business meeting talking about building a relationship with each other and how we can help each other. He does personal injury law. And you guys were sitting like right next to us, so we're lawyers. You said, "Oh, I'm here with my colleagues. They still work at the law firm," so we kind of hit it off that way. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had a lot of stories, good stories, fun stories to share. That it was a fun night.
Do you think you'd be breaking bread in some cool video or whatever?
No, never thought this would happen, and I am completely grateful that we are doing this.
It's a lot of fun.
It is a ton of fun.
And there will be an audio-only podcast version of this. It'll be going up on various podcast sites. Working on that now, so that's one of my 2019 goals. So listeners can sit back and enjoy the smooth ride of life coaching with Kim Larson, Zen Boutique Life Coaching, and attorney Brian Tierney. So that's what I want, because like when I listen to a podcast, it's a nice way of like having something there, it's a little bit of sometimes filler in the background, but also, you know, something that I feel like I'm part of the conversation. Even when sometimes you can get caught up in your work and feel all alone, like, oh my God, I got this monumental task. But when you're listening to a podcast, you feel like you're part of the conversation.
You really do, and I love that. That's why I love doing this. This is exciting. It's fun. We get to know more about each other.
I think you will have to talk to Renee to find out what kind of podcast equipment you should get. I have some that I just bought, thanks to Renee. What a good man he is. Holistic marketing approach.
Yeah.
Told me the best microphones to get for the best price. Likewise with the audio interface, which is the fancy name for this device that the microphones hook up to and then transfer the computer so that you can record on your computer. But he can tell you all that, and
I would love it.
We do a little video series, or just maybe I will be the first guest in the Zen Zone with Kim Larson.
Yes, let's do it.
It could be a cool thing to do for the new year.
Well, we could set that goal, hold each other accountable.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, I'm going to be podcasting like a son of a gun. And if you're listening, you're getting a sneak preview. Brian Tierney's Positive Vibes podcast is coming in the new year. There's going to be some other ones too, depending on who the guest is, but it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of good conversation for everybody. So I'm going to be doing that. I'll get in the Zen Zone with Kim Larson too.
Let's do it.
You know, it's the way I look at it is this. I'm doing this not because I want to see how many people like it or how many people watch it. I'm doing this because I enjoy this. So I'm flying that flag, and whoever wants to salute, so be it. It does more the better.
In.
Like if you like breaking bread, if you like hearing the topics that we mentioned in these videos, it's all good. And if you don't, I'm still going to be doing it anyway because I'm keeping it real.
Real with Brian.
Real talk with attorney Brian Tierney. Is there anything else that you want to tell us? I know you mentioned before we started filming that you're from the back of the yards originally.
I am.
You're born and raised here in Chicago.
Born and raised in Chicago.
Back of the yards, represent.
That's right, back of the yards all the way, 47th and or 48th and Hoyne. That's where I grew up. We have tons of friends I have tons of friends that I'm still connected with that go back to the neighborhood, go back to the school and see St. Michael's. That's where we went to school. We go back there, have to go inside and do a little tour, go back memory lane. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun.
Right on. Mm-hmm. Right on. And then how would you make your way up to Lincoln Park?
The kids all left the nest, and I didn't want the suburban life anymore. I wanted Lincoln Park. Lincoln Park is full of energy. Every time I walk out the door, it's just energy, and that's what I wanted. So that's where I came.
And full of lovely places to eat.
Yes.
Such as Fresh Basil Café and Wine Bar. Before we got in here, we were the first to arrive. We started filming just before lunchtime as more people came in. They're getting their food so they can break bread. We're going to go ahead and take a break so that we can break a little bread too.
Let's do that.
And you know what? It's a shame we have to go on to take care of business after this because it's been a great pleasure to catch up with you. Great pleasure to have you on Breaking Bread. And we'll be back in just a few moments and break some bread with you. So for the viewers out there, our food just arrived, as you can see. I have a creamy tomato basil soup, which is one of the best soups I've ever tasted in my life. Sometimes the soups I get, or like the tomato soups I get, they're good to dunk a sandwich in, but like after that, you don't even want to eat the rest of it. It's just not that appealing. Mm-hmm. This is not that. Like, this was like love at first sight type of soup. Like, I tasted it, and oh my God, when they call it creamy tomato basil, it is creamy and very sweet and just delicious.
Yeah, it's homemade. They make all their soups homemade here at the restaurant. It's very delicious.
Yeah, that's not the type of soup that is not homemade. No way. That is definitely homemade. It's not something that's coming frozen from somewhere else.
Nope.
So I've ordered the chicken marsala as my main dish. You can see it comes with kind of like a linguine type of pasta, mushrooms, plenty of Parmesan on my chicken here. I can't wait to dig in. And what do you have? I
have the tomato mozzarella basil sandwich, and it's absolutely delicious. The bread is very soft. It's not, that hard kind of bread, unchewable. It's very soft, very delicious, and homemade chips.
Yeah, I'm guessing the viewers out there don't want to feel like they're having tug of war with their sandwich.
Exactly, and I definitely am not doing that.
Basil Leaf Café here in Lincoln Park. We're gonna go ahead and dig in and just let you know how it tastes.
Yes.
The portion is hearty too. The consistency is hearty. So when you eat this, you don't have to eat it all. There's enough here for 2 meals, so that's awesome. I'll have some for now and some for later. And my later self will thank my now self for saving some for later to have this delicious treat again. The mushrooms are the bomb. I'm about to eat one right now. Oh, look at that mushroom. How's the sandwich tasting, Kim?
It's very delicious. The balsamic flavoring they have on here is absolutely delicious. The sandwich is perfect.
Well, folks, it sounds like we don't have to sell it anymore. The food speaks for itself. Basil Leaf Cafe right here in Lincoln Park. If you're looking for fine Italian dining, this is the place for you. Kim, before we sign off, how can people get in contact with you for life coaching on social media and maybe your office number for the viewer?
I am on LinkedIn. My website is www.lifecoachzenboutique.com.
Okay, lifecoachzenboutique.com.
Or you can call at 773-499-5004.
Sounds good. Again, I'm attorney Brian Tierney. Man behind the camera is Renee Costa from Blum Visual. We are blessed. We are here living our best life, breaking some bread. We hope that you are blessed too. Many blessings to you in the new year. And until next time, this has been Breaking Bread with Brian. Please like and share, and we'll see you for the next episode. Peace.